Hey folks, Stronghold Crafter Kev here. Welcome to my channel. In this video we're going to continue my tutorial series on how to make a castle tower out of foam. Yes. And in this particular video I'm going to go over more finer details now that the tower is assembled. It's detailing that will be mostly engraving, and it's stuff that ties and blends things back together that would be nearly impossible to do unless it was done after assembly. And by the way, Jack the Scourge, he says hi. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, because I have a lot more things coming to the channel I wouldn't want you to miss out. And if you are a subscriber, thank you. I really appreciate it. And for more information on my craft, visit my website, which is strongholdsoffantasy.com. And I'll see you in a bit. Oh, and if you like the video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up too. Hey folks, welcome back to this tutorial. And here we're going to continue our list. Anyway, I meant recap. So, we've done the design part, we've done the cutting, we've done the detailing, we've done the assembly. Now, it comes time for checking the work. Excuse me, I'll be right back. Alright, we have the tower fully assembled, right? Are we done with the details? No, we're not. So, this is why this step is so important. It's the detailing we do after the assembly. And it's like, well, I could have called it post-assembly detailing, but that sounds a little tacky, so I just call it checking, because you're checking how things go together. You're checking to see what needs to be detailed further, and so on and so forth. So, what do we have to do now? Well, it may be obvious, it may not be obvious. Certain things need to have need some blending done, or other details need to be done to them. So I'm going to step my way through that and show you what I'm talking about. So let's start with the roof here. I pre-marked where I'm going to be carving. As you can see here, we have we can't have like a solid mass for the top of the wall here within the roof of the tower. So I'm going to break this up into block sections, and I'm going to be using my Hotwire Foam Factory engraving tool as before. And just a reminder of safety, it's very hot, it can burn you, so do not touch the tip of it, and always keep a window open for ventilation. So now the key is to make sure that the tip doesn't go too far into the styrofoam, because you're doing this free-handed, of course. You just need to find some balance of steadying yourself as you're going in, and it's going to be free-handed, so there's nothing to guide you, and these are pretty spontaneous carvings anyway. And you don't want to go too far and cut into the other foam that you didn't want to touch anyway. So it is a little bit complicated to get a feel for, but it is very simple, and I'm going to try and do this at an angle that you can see what I'm doing here. Alright, like all these carvings, you can't really see it with the camera, but there are a collection of angel hairs. Those dreaded angel hairs come along, and you just gotta pick them out, and so on and so forth. Now, they cling to stuff, and you just have to you know, take care of them. Now, to allow this pattern here to coincide with the surface here, we have to carve in the lines here that would actually naturally be a seam. So it looks like these are pieces here instead of being one mass. So I'm going to go in there carefully, and it's going to be hard to see this with the camera, but I'm just going to pull them out. And there we go. It's very hard to see, but you can see right there I just added some more detail there, which will make it well worth looking at when it's painted and once the hatch is in place here. Now, that takes care of the upper part of the roof. And how did that get there? Onward. Now, as you can see here, you've got some prominent lines here, but this seam here doesn't quite look right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the engraving tool and take that through and blend that. And I'm going to try not to go too deep with that, but it just makes it look more sellable if we increase the width of that seam there. Alright, as I pointed out, you're doing it freehand like before. It is kind of a challenge to keep that line as straight as possible. If it gets a little bit on the wiggly side, no big deal. It adds more character to the look. And as we're working our way down here, I like putting in some lines in between these holes, not holes, but windows here, to further give them some dimension and to make it look like this is just not one big piece here. So very carefully we'll just put that tool in. Alright, one thing I didn't mention before was I had some lines that I had to add to keep it consistent with the other sides, and if I felt that the seam wasn't enough I would widen it a little bit. But that pretty much is how it looks overall. The detail will pop out more once it's painted. It looks a little tedious right now, but that's how it works. And moving right along, we have some other parts to do here. All the doorways have to have their connection blocks, just like the roof hatch. So just like the roof hatch, very carefully carve the lines out. And see if you can see them. Very vaguely. Yep. More angel hairs. You know, if you did carving for hours, I'm sure you would agree that these angel hairs would drive you batty because you have to stop every so often and clean them out. So, alright, now we have more of those doors to do, so I will take care of that and get back with you. Alright, one thing I wanted to point out, after doing the doors that we need to do the connecting blocks on the sides of the tower here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you have a door that's adjacent to the wall there that's inset, you should do your inset grooves first, and make sure they they line up, obviously, and then proceed with doing the connecting lines. It'll make it a whole lot easier for cohesiveness. So these lines may not be perfectly straight. It's just something you have to deal with, but you just have to do it freehand, and it goes very quick if you just make some markings from the corners here, which have already been carved, obviously, like so. Alright, at this point you have the connecting lines, so they look like they've got bricks all the way through, but there isn't an exact cohesiveness with these other bricks here because of size variation. So what you can do is you can mark the bricks and continue the pattern, and like how you get the alternating pattern here with the bricks here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hold on. Alright, on this particular tower I took the time to mark where I want to put those additional carvings in to break up some of these blocks so they don't look so similar, and I also marked where I want to put an additional carving into the seam so it looks like it's semi right with how it goes together. Alright, that's how easy it is to give it more dimension with the blocks, and of course those dreaded angel hairs are always coming along, and that's how the other side turned out. Now, another thing to consider is windows. Alright, windows. We don't have to go too much into vertical windows, but you do want to, it's a preference more than anything else. If you want to detail them some more and carry the block pattern inward, you can. It's just going to be a little tricky. You've got to be very careful and hold it steady, like so. Alright, I will take the time to do the other one off camera, and as usual you have the threaded angel hairs coming along. And just to point out, I didn't go all the way in because it's very difficult to do so, but even at a slight angle you can't see the detail in that far unless you look very closely anyway. So just keep that in mind, and I'll be right back. Alright, as you can see, it does give a certain dimension that wasn't there before, and the doorways especially, even though they're not going to be opened in this particular model, you'll see how they will stand out better because of the work you take to put into that extra detail. That much pretty much covers all I can think of. Alright, thanks for watching, and until the next video, bye.